buying a home is not an easy decision. It just involves too many factors to consider. But there are few don'ts that you need to be aware of before buying a home. Those can help you in making an informed decision. We are going to take a closer look at them in this episode. Hello everyone, I'm Vijay Mohan and you are watching Investment Insights. Don't buy a home thinking that you can save on your rent. This might come out as a shock to many. Almost everyone believes that paying rent for a home is like throwing away money. But is that true? If we own a home, we do not have to pay rent. True. But at what cost? Let's say that I buy a house for $350,000. I make a 20% down payment or $70,000. Borrowing the remaining $280,000 with a 30-year loan term at a 7% interest rate. What would be my monthly mortgage payment? $1,863. Do you know how much of that money goes to the principal and how much goes to the interest? Out of 1863, only 230 go to the principal. The rest 1633 goes for interest. That is, only 12% of the payment goes to the principal. 88% goes to interest. This is for the first month of the loan period. As years go by, more money goes toward the principal. But not by a lot though. By the end of the 10th year, the monthly mortgage payment is still the same $1,863. But now, $459 go towards the principal. 25% of the payment. This is called amortization. If you think about it, it actually makes sense. At the beginning of the loan period, the loan balance is at the maximum. And so, we are paying the maximum interest for the first month. But as years go by, the outstanding loan balance goes down. And so the interest for the balance, that goes down as well. So for our example, I'll be paying $1,633 as interest in the first month. And even after 10 years, I'll be paying $1,400 as interest. If paying rent is like throwing away money, what do you call this? Donation for a good cause? No, this is throwing away as well. It is not just the mortgage payment. If you are in the US, you have to add property tax as well. Depending on the place, it could be more than 2% of the property price. For a $350,000 home in Chicago, the property tax goes above $7,300 per year. That adds $608 to the monthly expense. So for a $350,000 home, we have to spend more than $2,000 per month, which does not go towards our home value. In your words, throw away money. So why do we consider paying rent as throwing away money, but paying interest and property tax as a worthy expense? Mental accounting bug? Maybe. What if I am not taking the loan? What if I decide to pay the whole $350,000 in cash? Wouldn't that be better than paying the rent? Not really. It depends on what would I have done with this $350,000 if I have not spent that for home. It is called opportunity cost. Because I am missing my opportunities to invest this $350,000 somewhere else. For example, I could have invested this money in an equity index fund that gives a 10% return in the long term. That means, on average, I could have gotten $35,000 per year from this investment of $350,000. I have to let go of this opportunity because I am locking my money in a home. My opportunity cost is $35,000 per year. Your opportunity cost could be different. What would you do with $350,000? If you are going to hide it under your mattress, then your opportunity cost is zero. Then maybe you should buy a home. The lesson here is paying rent is not throwing away money. It is a utility cost that we are paying for a place to stay. So do not assume that renting is bad. In the second half of this episode, we will take a closer look at a buy versus rent calculator. Next, don't buy your primary residential home as an investment. It is not. It is a nice place for us to stay. That is all about it. Or in other words, see it as a utility need, just like electricity, water and gas. So buy a home for your needs, maybe even for your wants, and enjoy it. But do not buy a home assuming that its price will only go up in the future. It could lead to disappointment, and in some cases, people end up losing their homes. If you are in doubt, ask folks who have lived through the housing crisis in 2008. I am not saying do not buy any home as an investment. I am just saying do not consider your primary residential home as an investment. There are many real estate experts who buy fixer-upper type homes for cheap price. Then they fix them and rent them out for good money. Those are good investments, not your primary residential home. But if the price of your home goes up in the future, treat that as a nice bonus. Just don't expect that to happen. Next, your total expenses to own a home should not go over 30% of your take-home income. For example, if your take-home income is $5,000 per month, then your mortgage payment, property tax, and home insurance total should not go over $1,500 per month. Buying a home that goes over this limit is asking for trouble. It adds unnecessary financial stress to the family. If the home you like is not within your price range, then you need to focus on improving your income to get to that level. Don't buy a home if you cannot put 20% of the price as a down payment. If you have not saved enough for a 20% down payment, then that by itself is a signal that you are not financially ready to buy a home yet. Be patient. Save aggressively for your down payment. Then buy the home. Also, putting down at least 20% removes the requirement of buying mortgage insurance. It saves at least $3,500 per year on a $350,000 home. Next, peer pressure. For some, it is actually family pressure. Don't buy a home because someone you knew has bought it. Buy for your needs, not to satisfy society. We cannot judge our peers just from their external appearance. They might live in a big house, drive a fancy car, but they might be very close to a financial disaster. Who knows? So it is better to focus on your needs rather than playing a catch-up game with your peers. Personal finance is truly personal. Make it personal to you. Before buying a home, you need to be sure that you are going to stay there for at least 7 years. If you have too many uncertainties going on because of your job or visa situation, it is better to wait it out till you know for sure that you will be there for long term. Selling a home in less than 7 years most often results in a loss. So be patient till you have a solid plan for a long term stay. Don't buy a home to save on taxes. Now in the US, mortgage interest can be deducted from tax only if you are using itemized deductions. As the standard deduction for a family is big enough, not many have the need to use itemized deductions nowadays. So saving on tax should not be a reason to buy a home. This is true for India as well. It does not make sense to spend many lakhs in interest to save a few thousand in tax. See tax savings as an additional benefit that we get from buying a home rather than a reason for buying a home. Saying all that, owning a home gives a confidence boost and emotional strength which cannot be measured at all. There is no way we can account for those in our financial calculation. So yeah, definitely buy a home for your family. Just don't rush into it or bet everything on it. Now let's take a look at the buy versus rent calculator. This is created by someone during the good old days of Fat Wallet Finance forums. If you are wondering how much money you can save from buying a home rather than renting, then this calculator is for you. All the yellow fields that you see here are input fields. The rest are calculated values. The purchase price is the price that we pay to buy the home. Let's say that we are paying $350,000. Down payment is how much money we put down. Let's say that we are putting down 20%, $70,000. Interest rate. How much interest are we paying for the loan? The average interest rate now is 7%. Let's use that value. Principal amortization years. How many years are we getting the loan for? The typical is 30 years. Property tax rate. In the Chicago area, it is well over 2%. I am having it as 2% here. Use the property tax rate that fits your scenario. Annual maintenance. We can expect to spend 1% of the home price on maintenance. So $3,500. Home association dues. If the home that you are trying to purchase has any home association fees, enter that here. Single family homes usually do not have association fees, but then it depends on the neighborhood. I am having it as 0 here. Annual insurance. I am having it as $1,300 for our example. Assumed annual appreciation. How much appreciation are we expecting from our home? The historical average is 3%. Though the last few years have been crazy, do not put any crazy numbers here. Go with the historical average. Assumed marginal income tax rate. If you are planning on using itemized deduction to get a tax deduction for mortgage interest, enter your marginal income tax rate here. But like I said, most of us will be using standardized deduction. and so I am leaving the value 0 here. General inflation. We use this value to account for the inflation of maintenance costs. Though the current inflation is over 7%, let's use the historical value of 3%. Monthly mortgage payment. For our inputs, we see here how much mortgage we have to pay every month. Cost of renting a similar home. Enter how much money you would pay as rent if you are renting a similar home. Let's have $2,000 here. Assumed rental price inflation. How much is rent increasing every year? In recent years, it has been crazy, but using long-term inflation of 3% would make more sense here. Assumed annual return on cash. How much return are we expecting from our investments if we have invested the down payment rather than spending it on our home? In our example, we have put $70,000 as down payment. If we have not spent that $70,000 on down payment, where would we have invested the money? Let's say that we would have invested in an equity index fund which can give a long-term return of 8%. Use whatever value is appropriate for your situation. Those are all the inputs. Now let's take a look at the results in the bottom half of the screen. We are looking at the monthly cash flow for buying scenario and for renting scenario. Home value starts at $350,000. We can see the home value is increasing every month based on our annual appreciation amount of 3%. Debt. It starts at $280,000. We can see that it is going down every month as we pay our mortgages every month. Equity in home. This shows how much value of the home that we actually own. Basically, it is the remaining amount of home value after paying off the debt on the home. We can see the home equity increasing every month both from appreciation and from principal payment. Interest on debt. This is the amount that goes towards interest from our monthly mortgage payment. We can see that out of 1863 mortgage payment, 1633 goes towards interest and only 230 goes towards principal in the first month. But as the months go on, we can see that the interest payment is going down and the principal payment is going up. The rest are individual expenses for every month. Finally, we see the total cash outflow in buying scenario. That would be $2,846 for the first month. For renting scenario, $2,000 is the monthly rent. But we are assuming that rent increases by 3% every year. And so we can see the rent increasing every month. Though in reality, we will see rent going up once in a year. So the total cash outflow for renting scenario is $2,005 for the first month compared to $2,846 for owning scenario. This is just an example. It does not reflect the actual scenario. You have to fill in your numbers to see your cash flow for both scenarios. Finally, we have a separate row that captures how the down payment of $70,000 would have grown every month in a renting scenario. This section is showing the snapshot of the data by the end of the 10th year. Let's say that we sell our home by the end of the 10th year. How much money would we have saved by owning compared to renting? The home value would have been at $472,000. Debt would have been reduced to $240,000. In the first 10 years, we would have paid off only $40,000 out of $280,000 debt. Our home equity would have grown to $232,000. Transaction costs of selling. We are assuming a 6% $28,000 here. Net cash in our hand after selling the home and paying off the debt would be $203,600. If we have rented the same home for 10 years, then we would have had $283,000 in hand. This is the growth from the $70,000 investment and from the $800 savings every month because of renting. The last row shows the present value of the difference, $283,000 minus $203,000, which is close to $59,000. So for the example we used, we are seeing a loss of $59,000 in today's money from buying rather than renting. Again, as I said before, this is an example. Use your own values to check your scenarios. I'll have the link for this calculator in the description. Also, if you are in India, you can use the calculator in next tab, India. Hope this is helpful for making an informed decision of buying a home. See you all soon in another episode. Thank you.